All right, hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting polynomials. So basically, whenever we are adding and subtracting, all we are doing is combining the like terms. So we're going to look for things that have matching variables, and then those are what will be combined by either adding or subtracting depending on what it's telling us. So if I'm looking at example number 1, the first thing I see is a 3x. So what I'm going to do is look at the remaining terms in the polynomial to see if there's anything else that has an x. So I see a 3x and then a minus 6x. So if I do 3x minus 6x, that gives me a negative 3x. Then I go back to my polynomial. The first thing left over that I haven't used yet is the negative 2y. And as I look at the other remaining term, I see the plus 4y. So if I combine those, negative 2 plus 4 gives me 2y. So my final answer is negative 3x plus 2y. Right, so example 2 is a little bit more complicated. Once again, my 3x is the first thing that I see. I see an x over here, but then I notice that this x has an exponent of 2 on it. And so I need to remember that for combining like terms, when I'm adding and subtracting, the x and the x squared are not the same thing, right? So that 3x and that x squared do not combine. So those guys are just going to carry down. So I know I'm going to need a 3x by itself. I know I'm going to need a negative 2x squared that combines with nothing. And then I look at what I have left over, and I see a negative 12y and a plus 6y. Now, since those both have y's, they are like terms, and I will combine them. So negative 12 plus 6 gives me negative 6. Keep the y. So I've used all of the terms I started with. I've combined the things that go together, and I've left the other two alone. So my final answer for example 2 will be 3x minus 2x squared minus 6y. All right, so example 3 is going to work in a very similar way. Notice they've grouped our terms into two sets using the parentheses, and then they've put this little plus sign in the middle. So what that tells me is I'm adding the things in the first group with the things in the second group. So the way that we work the problem is going to be the same. I'm going to start with the first term that I see, which is 3x squared. And then I'm going to keep going to the rest of my terms and see if I see another term with an x squared, which is right here. So I'm going to add negative 7x squared. And I know that when I see plus and minus next to each other, the minus takes control. So positive negative makes a negative. So if I combine those together, 3 minus 7 is negative 4. So we'll have a negative 4x squared. All right, so the next term that I see that I haven't used yet is negative 4x. And then I see a 2x in the other group, again with the plus sign in the middle. So I'm going to do negative 4x plus 2x. And that's going to give me a negative 2x. And then finally, I haven't used this 8 yet. So I have an 8, and then a plus, and then a negative 5. So I'm going to carry down my 8 plus negative 5. And once again, we said if we see opposite signs, then we just keep the negative. So 8 minus 5 is 3. So to get my final answer, I will just put these guys together to get negative 4x squared minus 2x plus 3. All right, so in example 4, I noticed that the symbol in between the parentheses has changed to a minus sign. So I'm going to follow the same steps as example 3, only I'm subtracting my like terms instead of adding. So once again, we'll start by finding the first term that we see. So there's a 3n squared. I don't see any other terms with n squared, so this guy is just going to carry down. The next thing that I see is this 13n cubed. And then I notice that there is a 4n cubed in the parentheses, or in the second set. So I'm going to subtract positive 4n cubed. Once again, we said if I see opposite signs, I just treat it as subtraction. So 13 minus 4 should give me 9n cubed. And then finally, we see a positive 5n, and then a positive 7n. So we're going to subtract those guys. So I will see 5n minus 7n, which will give me negative 2n. So to put it all together, I should see 3n squared. I should see plus 9n cubed, and then minus 2n. So then in our final example, once again, we're going to do the same thing. The only thing that I'm noticing that's different is that we've got some different combinations of variables going on. So remember that in order for it to be like terms, it has to have the exact same variables and the exact same exponents. So the first term that I see is 2b squared. I don't see anything else with a b squared, so that guy's just going to carry down. The next thing that I see is 8ab cubed. So I see another ab cubed in the second set. So my second thing that I'm going to do is 8ab cubed minus negative 5ab cubed. And so we need to remember that minus minus makes a plus. So when I put those together, 8 and 5 gives me 13. So I should see a 13ab cubed. And then the last bit is this 4b and the 9b. So once again, I will carry down the 4b, and then I will subtract the 9b to get negative 5b. Double check, I've used all of my terms. So now to get my final answer, I want 2b squared. I want 13ab cubed. And then I want the negative 5b, so minus 5b. All right, that's all I have for this one. I will see you guys next time.